Hello everyone, this is Navin Shekhawat. Welcome back on my YouTube channel English Sahitya. Friends, as we have discussed in the last video lecture about the political and the historical aspects pertaining to the Middle English period, now in this video session we will be having a discourse over the another remaining issues like the War of Roses and um, the Peasants' Revolt and the language of the Middle English period. So let us start with the first topic of today, the peasants' revolt. Friends, the peasants' revolt, the time period of the peasants' revolt is 1381, and why this peasant revolt was there, we can say that this is the result of, this was the result of socio-political and the socio-economical upheavals that were created or produced by the great famine and the great, this epidemic like the bubonic plague. So at that time, this was the era of war of 100-year war. So 100-year war was in the background, and this was the time of socio-economic upheavals and political upheavals. So these kings and the upper strata was, uh, getting somehow, we can say, the cynical, that they started imposing the different type of taxes, and they started the cruelty on, the lower strata, lower class people, or the rural class people. So due to this imposing of taxes and the different type of, uh, taxes like the poll tax we have, and the another one, yes, Richard said at the time that everyone who is over age of 14, he had to pay the tax, or he had to pay the 4 pence each. So that is the situation, you can understand, was there. And that is why the people who were, of lower strata, they started revolt, they started rebellion, uh, against the upper society kings of at that time. So yes, one more thing, taxes also imposed on the goods and the stock of the peasants, यानी कि जो हाउस होल्डिंग पोजेशंस थे उनके, द even the taxes were on the householding possessions like goods and stocks of the peasants. So uh, such scenario was there, and the revolt started. This revolt is also known as the Wat Tyler rebellion, because this revolt particularly was led by Wat Tyler, the prominent figure of this revolt. And the John Ball was there. John Ball था वहां पे, और Wat Tyler थे. Jack Straw like people were there in the, we can say, the prominent figure of this particular revolt. So ऐसे ये जो है, जो रिवोल्ट था, ये उस टाइम सामने उभर के आया 1381. So if we talk about the, literary aspect or the literary effect of this peasant revolt, then we can say that this revolt basically became the topic, or the, subject, or we can say the reference basically for the literary figures. They got the reference, or they, refer this event in their literary works. If we talk about, if we are talk about the examples of this particular event, then we have first one, the Vox Clementis. Then we have Piers the Plowman. Vox Clementis by John Gower, and the meaning of this Vox Clementis is basically meaning was Vox Clementis. Meaning of Vox Clementis was, was the voice of one crying, something like that. So then we have the Piers Plowman. Then we can say that this peasant revolt was not only having its effect on the contemporary uh, literature, but it also affected the, upcoming literature. Like we have the chapbook, the chapbook named The History of Jack Straw and Wat Tyler. Chapbook basically means that this is the book basically of 40 pages we can say. So ऐसी chapbooks आई, this was in 18th century. And another one is yes, one play was there, Wat Tyler. The name of the play itself is Wat Tyler, written by Robert Southey, romantic writer. So we have this effect of this peasant revolt on the literature of that time. After that, after that we have second topic is War of Roses. So War of Roses, the time period is 1455 to 85. This is very interesting topic. मेरे लिए तो बहुत interesting topic है ये, and it is going to be interesting for you as well. Don't worry. So War of Roses is the result of basically we can say Edward III was there, who led the 100-year war. So 100-year war was in the background, and what happened at the time, Edward III के 4 सन थे. Edward the Black Prince, second one John of Gaunt, third one after John of Gaunt we have Edmund of York, and fourth one we have Gloucester. So what happened basically, after Edward III, Edward the Black Prince had to become the king, but due to some unknown reasons he died, and after the death of Edward, Richard II became the king, and Richard II was there, and after becoming the king of Richard II, John of Gaunt was there and Edmund of York was there. John of Gaunt and Edmund of York जो थे, they also in the want of the throne. Then the real conflict started from here only. कि after becoming the king, Richard becoming the king, they were in the want to get the throne. Then they have the son. John of Gaunt has a son, Henry IV, V, and Henry VI. So Henry IV, what basically he did, he attacked on Richard II, and he got the he got the crown, and he became the crown king. Then after Henry V was there, and then Henry VI was there. After the death of Henry V, Henry VI was the crown king, and this is considered that Henry VI was not that much decisive. He was not that much clever or wise king. He married to मार्गरेट ऑफ एंजो. उसने मार्गरेट ऑफ एंजो से शादी की जो फ्रांस से थी. She was of very clever nature. She was wise, we can say. And the another family, Edmund of York, we have Richard. Richard was there from the Edmund of York. One more thing I just want to tell you is that John of Gaunt is from the Lancaster family, and Edmund of York was from York. So Lancaster were symbolized with the symbol of red rose, and York were white roses. So basically, the conflict started between these two families, Lancasters and the York, because they want the throne. Richard too was there from the Edmund of York. Richard was there, and he had two sons. So after getting married, Henry VI with this Margaret of Anjou, जो वहां से थी, फ्रांस से थी, Richard too was sent to exile because Richard was working under the Henry VI at the time, but this Margaret of Anjou, due to some reasons, she sent him exile, and after coming back from the exile, Richard, this is not true, we can say, Richard was Richard started claiming over the throne. He started fighting with the Henry VI because he knew very well that Henry VI was not that much decisive and he can get the throne easily. So this was the thinking of Richard, and he started attacking on Henry VI. After the attack, what Margaret of Anjou did कि उसने एक षड्यंत्र रचा, सी intrigued and Richard was died. ठीक है. After the death of Richard, his two sons were continued attacking over Henry VI. But in 1485, what happened? From France, one person came, Henry Tudor. Henry Tudor was in want. He came there with the ambition of getting this throne, and he came in the England. और उसने स्टार्ट किया अटैक करना इनके ऊपर. आफ्टर attacking, he defeated these two sons of Richard, or we can say Edmund of York, हरा के उनको, और वो खुद राजा बन गया. कौन? हेनरी ट्यूडर. So Henry Tudor became the king, and from here only Tudor dynasty started in 1485. So this is all about the War of Roses. कि वहां पे दो फैमिलीज थी बेसिकली, लैंकास्टर एंड यॉर्क. लैंकास्टर वर नोन एज द रेड रोजेस एंड यॉर्क वर व्हाइट रोजेस. दैट्स व्हाई दिस इज नोन एज द वार ऑफ रोजेस. ठीक है, आ गया होगा समझ में? यस. देन नेक्स्ट, we are going to start with the language of that particular time, Middle English language. The first question that arises in our mind, that why we call it the Middle English. So as I told you that was the time of that French was on its way. French यानी कि जो नॉर्मन्स थे, उनकी जो भाषा थी वो थी फ्रेंच, और वी कैन से द ओल्ड नॉर्मन. Old Norman was the language of these Norman people, and this old Norman developed in England as Anglo-Norman language. So this Anglo-Norman language was there, and parallelly there was Anglo-Saxons. So Anglo-Saxons were there, Anglo-Normans were there, and the dialects of these two societies, or we can say these two kingdoms, were mixed together, and then we have this Middle English. एंग्लो नॉर्मन थे वहां पे जो फ्रेंच बोलते थे, तो फ्रेंच का इन्फ्लुएंस था इस पे, और ओल्ड इंग्लिश का इन्फ्लुएंस था. ठीक है, दोनों लैंग्वेजेस का इन्फ्लुएंस था, और हमारे पास एक नई लैंग्वेज आई, दैट इज मिडल इंग्लिश. ठीक है, सम हिस्टोरियंस says that this is not Middle English, this is in between language, because this is between Old English and this French, or we can say this Anglo-Norman. ठीक है, तो हमारे पास ऐसे Middle English आई, और that's why we call it the Middle English. If we talk about the characteristics and the features of this Middle English in particular, then we have, you know, some grammatical transformations were there, some, you know, uh, inflections transformation was there, like, yes, at that time, just I am, yes, there were grammatical conversions were there, syntax was sounding biblical, lack of do construction. Let me tell you about this. First one is, there were grammatical conversions. Grammatical conversions were there. Then we have the syntax. जो सिंटेक्स था वो बिब्लिकल साउंड करता था, नहीं यानी कि बाइबल का इफेक्ट था उसके ऊपर, बिब्लिकल इफेक्ट वाज देयर ऑन द सिंटेक्स. एंड वी हैव लैक ऑफ डू कंस्ट्रक्शन, लैक ऑफ, यानी कि जैसे कि हम बोलते हैं डू नॉट सिट, तो वो ऐसे यूज नहीं करते थे, सिट नॉट. सो सच टाइप ऑफ, यू नो, कंस्ट्रक्शन वाज देयर ऑफ दिस do statement in the question form, or we can say that in the negative sentences. Next, the capital letters were used in the, you know, proper nouns, or in the starting of the common nouns. Capital letters were using at that time, and word order also became the important part of this Middle English. So these were the basic, you know, features of this Middle English. One more thing, that yes, words of Old English, like we have beard was there, yes, breed was there, this became bird. Then we have throw becomes the thorough, and yes, so such changes were there. Ask was there and it became ask. So such changes were there, or French influence was there. So we can say these are the characteristics of the Middle English. In this video, I am going to wind up here only. In the next video, we will be covering the literature part and the other, you know, writers of that particular era. So by then, thank you very much. Thank you for watching my video.